Hey everyone, it's Samantha and I'm back. And today I wanted to discuss with you how to transition your current clientele into a more luxury service clientele like extensions. So, when I first got into the extension world, I was already doing hair for like 15, 14 years. So my specialty was color, but I did haircuts as well. So I had a full book of business of color clients. I would see like 10 to 12 clients a day. I would double book all day long and I would work like 4 to 5 days a week. I was busy. My assistant and I were hustling, working long hours, and lots of clients. And I did take a few days off to go do extension training to see if it was like really something that I wanted to do. And after all my pre-training and extension training, I kind of realized I'm like, you know what? I think this is what I want to do. I was ready for a new challenge, something different, something that I could charge a lot more money for and potentially make more of an income for myself. And so I kind of started that transition within my clientele. I first things first, after getting certified and getting properly trained by a great and reputable company is like my first recommendation. And extensions are not an easy thing to do. It is very time consuming and it takes a lot of practice to master the art of color with extensions because you want the two of them to blend so seamlessly. Um, so it will take practice, lots of mannequin heads, lots of late nights or early mornings or your days off working on your beading and your stitching because you're never going to take a class and know how to do extensions in a weekend. Like proper extensions are not learned that quickly. It takes time because you'll have to learn, head shapes, tension, texture, bead sizes, angle placements. And a lot of that's going to come with time and a lot of that's going to be trial and error with your clients and getting feedback and what works, what doesn't work. Did they have tension spots? Did you cause balding? Did the client rip their hair? What issues did they have? So it takes time, but I'm going to explain to you how I completely changed my clientele. And now I just only specialize in extension services with color. So I probably see 2 to 3 clients a day, and I work 3.5 days a week, and I have like 3x'd my income from what I was doing working just as a color only stylist. So after I did my training, I obviously spent a lot of time practicing on like doll heads, and I installed extensions on family members, friends, family, discounted rate, or I had them pay just the cost of hair and I would color for free. So that way I could start to build like my marketing photos. Marketing photos are key to growing your clientele. So originally when I was starting to build my extension clientele, whenever I installed extensions on somebody, I would have them bring a couple different outfits to change into. So that way I could take pictures of them in one outfit in one area of the salon, and then I could change the outfit, change the hairstyle, take pictures of them in another area of the salon. So that way I had more content and more work to show. And depending on the method in your training, you sometimes can show your sectioning, your beadwork, your stitch work, how you lay the hair, how the install, the whole process before and after, and that will give you a ton of content as well. A lot of people just sometimes want to see the before and afters, and then there are some individuals who want to understand the process and how you get there. A lot of it's going to be depending on what you want to market to. Are you marketing to like grow your clientele, or are you marketing to want to be an educator and a trainer for extensions? So for me, It was to grow my clientele. That was like my main goal. So when you are starting to market yourself on social media, you need to have a focus of who you are directly marketing to. And for me, it was clients. I wanted a certain type of clientele who could afford this experience. Um, so I had to speak and talk to as if these are my clients and this is what I'm going to attract, and show the before and afters and show my clients' struggles and how I'm able to help, achieve these results and benefit my clients and give them this beautiful hair that they've been struggling with for years. So after doing a lot of models, I did market originally for like model pricing to get like an actual client in my chair that was not family and friends, so I could have the full experience of coloring a client that I've never seen before from start to finish, and installing extensions and learning to have that stock on hand and learning to understand the colors of wefts and what can be used for this client. So those models, I definitely had agreement forms with them and what I required of them and the feedback and how they'd have to come back every so often for me to check my beadwork and my stitching and follow-up photos and things like that. So I had a small handful, probably like 2 or 3 models that I was consistently working with for a short period of time. And then I would slowly start to get inquiries for real clients that were paying like my full price when I first started doing extensions. So for me, I was fully booked for like a year out with my color clients. So the hardest part to start offering extension services was the time. And I wasn't going to double book something that originally would take me like 6, 7, maybe 8 hours to do an extension install when I first started doing extensions. It was very, very time consuming because I was very slow and I wanted it to be installed well and look great. So the clients who were sitting in my chair, they knew I was more new and they knew it was going to be a timely service. So I definitely let my clients know about that. But the first thing I did was start to find a day on my schedule that I can completely block out. So for me, I worked Tuesday through Friday. So I knew, okay, I need one full day to dedicate to doing extensions. So if I don't have a client, I am practicing, I am doing beadwork on either a model or I am working on a doll head. So I decided Friday was my one day for extension services. So I started to block out whenever my next opening was every Friday. From there moving forward, I did not take any of my regular color clients. So I know it's a little scary at first because you're like cutting your income for services that have not booked yet, but it allowed me to work on my marketing. And then when I had that inquiry, I'm like, okay, I have Fridays. Fridays are my day. Fridays are my only day. I could see you at such and such time, and then I'd get them scheduled. So that's how it started. It was just one day a week that I mainly focused on hair extensions with color. And then once my Fridays continuously got booked up, and I was booked pretty much every Friday for a few months out, then I slowly took away Thursdays from my color clients and my haircut clients. So now I was only servicing color and cuts Tuesday, Wednesdays, and now I was doing extensions only on Thursdays and Fridays. And then that was like a couple more months. And then once my Thursdays and Fridays built up, I nixed my Wednesdays for my color services. So that is like how I slowly started the transition of shifting my clientele. So as I was starting to condense my color and cut services, if you have such a large clientele, that's where you're going to have to start raising your color prices. So hopefully some clients will kind of filter away and then you could service what you still love to do, but at a higher rate. And then on your other days, you're locked in doing your specialty, more luxury services. And then, sorry, phone is ringing. And then once I was down to just one day a week with my color only services, I raised my rates even more to almost my equivalent rates for what my extension services are. So then I had another big drop of clients. clients. But surprisingly, I still had a handful of clients that wanted to still see me for a higher hourly rate to get their color done, which I did for a while. And then once my Wednesday through Friday was continuously booked and then I needed more room, I knew that was the time for me to slowly get rid of my Tuesday color clients. So that's where I had to make the decision to have those personal conversations, because by then those clients have stuck around through all this big change and they kind of probably already know the time will eventually come. So I had to have those conversations with my clients and let them know that I'm no longer servicing their color services anymore. But when referring out clients that you no longer can see or want to see, or you don't want to specialize in that, I always try to find another stylist who I think is going to be an exceptional fit for my client, whether they have similarities or their personalities go well together, whatever it is. Like if you work in a group salon environment, that has been the best way for me to still see my clients today. I have so many of my clients that still come into the salon that see many of my other stylists who do color and cut services. And it's so nice to still see them and chat and say hi, and that they are still a part of my Veil of Grace team, and they come into my salon and their services are taken care of and their hair still looks beautiful without seeing me. So yes, was that transition hard? Yes. Did I have clients that were upset? Yes. Did I have clients that were mad that I did this? Yes. Did I have clients that cried that I couldn't do their hair? Yes. It was so emotional, but at that point in your career, you kind of have to sit back and make that decision. Like, this is a business decision. It's nothing personal. A lot of these clients that I've referred on to other stylists were seeing me for over 10, 12 years. I've known so much about their life, but it was time for me to make that change. And I wanted to make that business growth and that business change. So you have to have those hard conversations. And sometimes it's best to do it in person. I feel an email could only go so far, but people will understand when, it's talk to them in person. So that is kind of slowly how I made the transition. And for me to grow a full clientele, it was at least a year, maybe a year and a half until I was fully extension only services with the continuing marketing and showing up for my craft and talking about it and videos and pictures, and now reels are a thing and TikTok is a thing, but it's always being present with your clients and showcasing your work. You have to take the time out of your day to take photos and videos and showcase your work. So that is slowly how I grew my extension clientele and made the change and the transition. So if you have any questions on how to do this or what you're struggling with to make these changes in your business for more growth, ask me below. I'm more than happy to answer them. Thanks again for checking in.